Okay, so it looks like there are now 7 people in the room and people are starting to come in. Okay, so hi everyone. Can you tell us in the chat where you're from? And while we're waiting for everyone, maybe tell us where you're from so we can say hello to you. Let us know as well if you can hear us well and if you can see us. Okay, so my coworker is telling me now that the chat is disabled, so maybe that's probably why. Um, let's see how we can get this to work. Okay, everyone, could you try and chat in the chat box and tell us where you're from? Hey, there we go. Okay, now it's working. Great. All right, they can hear and see us. Good. Hi, John. Hi, Andre, Betsy. Welcome to the webinar. Great. Okay, everyone's coming in now. All right, so let me just do a quick introduction. So hi, everyone. My name is Jel. I'm the community manager at tinyhouse.com. Jason and Zach couldn't be here today because they've been assigned to coach their kids soccer team today, so I'll be filling in for them. And we are very happy to have Jack Whitfield with us, who was actually with us in the conference a few weeks ago. He's going to be showing us his beautiful sustainable community in Kauai, Hawaii. And he's also going to be talking about the invasive trees that he uses in order to build some of the structures in his community. So Jack, when you're ready, you can take it away.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Joe. Aloha, everyone. Jack Whitfield here. Really honored to have this time with you all and kind of tune in and share my piece. Definitely a lot of passion and a lot of dedication to this tiny house movement and this community essence that we're collaborating and coexisting in. We're on the North Shore of Kauai, beautiful subtropics, abundant, just a magical place, an absolute blessing, and feel very grateful to be here. And I come from Australia originally. 20-something years ago, I left Australia and I started traveling the world and seeing all different living expressions and kind of chiming in with the diversity of ways we can live and the different foods and cultures and housing and all of that. And it's been really a big part of my passion to help co-create alternative ways. And I feel that's what the earth, the planet, the people are really thriving or striving for, I should say. And my childhood, a bush kid from Australia, I grew up very alternatively. My parents kind of acquired this, really raw bushland in Australia. And that was for a few reasons. I think they wanted to kind of pull us away from society and just give us as pure and whole upbringing as they could, or at least as they believed was the best. And in essence, we were raised on this really amazing organic farm. It was bushland. They helped, clear it and kind of plant it out with a lot of abundance and diversity and vegetables and fruit trees and a really magical place. There was a river that ran through the property, and it was something at the time, I guess I took for granted. It was something that I was probably spoiled with, just because it was every day and not knowing how precious and unique that was. We had no television, no electricity, no telephone, and we were out there, and it was very expansive, our yard and our roaming zone, our walkabout zone was huge, and we had a lot of freedom in that, and creativity, and a lot of inspiration with the natural world. Both my parents were, you know, artists in many ways, but my mom built this amazing stone house. It took her about 20 years, like 16-inch thick walls, really, really beautiful, solid castle. It's small, but, you know, like castle-like. And in essence, um, the conditioning, if you will, of witnessing that over all those years really imprinted me. We had never ended up putting the roof on it. Actually, we were very poor, like in a you know, financial way. So we never had the money to put the roof on the home. My dad bought a chainsaw who was going to cut all the rafters, and it never really manifested. And you know, so it was kind of sad not to have it complete. But in essence, it's interesting that, yeah, we were poor with financial, you know, means, but we were rich with culture and a way of life that at this age, I'm 41 actually in a couple of days, but at this age, I really appreciate the value of that lifestyle. Now here on the North Shore of Kauai, giving it back to my kids and so many others, you know, through a remembrance of what I had as a childhood, and also that journey that took me around the world exploring and diving into different cultures, and living expressions that felt beautiful and magical and wonderful, and also very scary. The state of the world through the eyes that I saw it was extremely diverse, but it was extremely in need of change. And the change that, you know, I'm bringing through, and the passion that I'm really cultivating is our home, our space of love. This is our nest. This is our, you know, our shelter. And I feel that is, you know, one of the most important human, you know, components, you know, no matter where you live, desert to the snowy mountains to the sandy beaches, it's all, you know, somewhat exposed to the elements in nature, which is beautiful. Although to have that shelter and that built armor, that home, is so crucial, and so much of our time is in that, right? We're spending so much time within these shelters, and that in theory is a blessing, and it's also a problem where we are exposed to that home, that sacred space, you know, from a newborn all the way through all those years, and it is a major imprint. And of course, it can be a creative space, a beautiful space, a spacious space, a tiny space, a collective commune for the family to cultivate play and food and nourishment and that joy. But it's also often forgotten that it also can be a very big toxicity to one's organic expression. We come into this world and really somewhat are living in that organic expression, although there's so many levels and layers of today's ways that are suppressing our pure essence. And I do feel the house, home, building, construction industry is one that needs a lot of change. We're reaching a point where it's horrific. And it may be perceived parallel, or I'd even say worse than the food industry or the medical industry. You know, I do see a lot of parallels where the corporate ways, the governing ways, the what is heavily out of alignment, and we can point at it and hate at it, or, you know, or just bring it up for, you know, some guiding perspectives. It's like duality. There's yin and the yang. There's all of it in there, and we can look at the what is and what's the standard building materials and the shelters and the food and the medical choices, and we can really look at that and go, wow, okay, there's a lot of what we're doing in this last 70 and 100 years that have been heavily swayed, derailed, or just manifested in an expression that I feel has created so much toxicity for these families, for us humans, for this planet, these streams, these rivers, these jungles and bushes and forests to the big blue ocean. There's so much that we're seeing is being imprinted. And a lot of what I'm doing, and so many others around the world, but a lot of what I'm doing and passionate about is really tapping into these ancestral ways. This is not new technology. It's almost low tech, when we can start to remember and awaken these dormant cells that have been expressed or operated in these ways that humanity has really lived through, these ancestors and these tribal beings and these civilizations that have lived in harmony. And of course, maybe not perfect, and we can always do better. But if we tap into these ancestral ways and really look back at how things have been done and then merge them with today's ways, I really feel the convenience, the modern, conditioning that we have is the what is, and we can still have it, but how do we do it with more earth harmony? How do we coexist with more of this respect and honor? And it really does come down to choices, being radically responsible for our own choices is huge. And not to get overwhelmed or kind of finding it too daunting or too much pressure, but if we can start to really look at what we're doing as an individual and be responsible for that level, and of course it fractalizes, or from the micro of self out is a very vast problem, if you will, from our own choices to our families and the governments and the deep state, and then it just keeps on spiraling out, and how many entities and forces have really put this in play. And what I'm excited about is that we're here to change that, and we have this opportunity, and we're in these bodies, and these kids are coming in, and we're at this age where we really want to show up, and there's so many hands and hearts and beautiful beings today that are really inspired to creating this shift and this change. And a part of that for us is living with other people in this core value system where these values are spiraling with other families and individuals and beautiful brothers and sisters that are inspiring, uplifting, and empowering one another. And we can really cultivate a shift in our daily living, and a shift in our education, and a shift in our our choices, because we all hold these different potent pieces, and in essence that is so valuable, and we've kind of been stripped of that and divided and separated and somewhat weakened, and we're somewhat limping through this human existence. And in that, coming back together to unity, community, in that we hold so much power, potency, and profound opportunity to really awaken these dormant cells, these bodies and these ways. And I feel what we're doing here on the North Shore is a little micro community. There's 16 people, including the kids and the babies, all living together on this 8.8 acre little diverse kind of farm living expression. We have regenerative farming practices happening, a diverse array. We have biodynamic gardening and food forests and orchards and different yeah, indigenous and native trees and plants, and we have really passionate chefs and like nutritionists that are like utilizing what is in the local areas and what's in season, and really putting their spin on transforming that nourishment into medicine, living food medicine. And the other component that where I spend most of my days is we have this sustainable building facility. It's I'm saying it's the biggest in Hawaii, and I don't really know, but it feels like it is just from my research and studies and understanding of the norm of today's building in this part of the world. It's mostly imported, like 99%. It's really, there's a major opportunity, put it that way, to shift that. And what we're doing is cultivating a workspace and a place to really dive into what is here. What do we have in abundance, and how do we transform that? Renewable building materials, sustainable building materials, local building materials. So of course, there's all the reclaimed stuff. There's all these big, beautiful homes, and they're throwing so much away. 24% of the landfill is construction waste here in Kauai. I'm sure a lot of it's trash, sure, yes. And I bet you a lot of it is good. And I know that because we use a lot of it, and we're only just, scratching the surface of what could be done with these materials. So there's abundance there that can be transformed, and give those materials another life is so key. And I know a lot of people are doing this around the world, and I'm sure that's, a part of your passion in your homes as well, is that reclaimed material choice. What we're seeing here, because of it being a trade route back in the day and still is to some degree, it's been a kind of a hot spot in the middle of the ocean for many things, including invasive species, from insects to animals to trees. And our passion is to keep feeling into what is here and what is creating problems, and then how do we redirect that problem into a sustainable solution. And through that, there's these abundant, massive, beautiful, extremely problematic, extremely, heavily seed spreading, prolific, fast growing, massive trees. The Albizia trees are, blanketing these islands, and they have huge canopies. So they're susceptible to wind. Well, we get that, right? Hurricanes, and we're in the middle of the ocean. So there's a lot of wind, a lot of water. One of the wettest places on the earth is actually just up the mountain here. And so they get waterlogged, and, so they get blown down, they get waterlogged and kind of drop limbs, and also bug infestation. There's susceptible to all the boring beetles and all of that. And of course, we have that here in the subtropics. So in essence, these trees are hazardous. They're perceived very dangerous. They do take lives and create a lot of extreme expense for the county and state, with road, clearings along the side of the roads, and then, state areas, and then personal residents and farms and estates. Also, these trees have created a huge problem. And at Sol Projex, our nonprofit, we are creating solutions with that. And they're massive trees, so they have so much yield. We're talking about tiny houses, even though I'm kind of on my sustainababble rambling. We're talking about tiny houses. One of these trees could build a home easily, every component. Of course, maybe not the roofing and the plumbing and whatnot, but, for the majority of the material, walls, floors, ceilings, cabinets, countertops, like it's incredible. So giving these trees another life. Yes, it sucks to kill anything, sure, but how do we do it with as much honor, gratitude, and tuning in before we fall these trees, and really, taking that time to slow down and recognize that being, that tree being, and honor it and thank it. And in essence, it's holding space, a place. It's nitrogen fixing these trees. They're amazing placeholders. Of course, they have their problems, but if we can use them rather than just abuse them and put them to the highest use possible. We're in a housing crisis. How do we shift that? Well, importing more material, no, I'm sorry, that is a convenient way, but it is horrific to the seas and to this planet and to this species. So, and not this species, all species. We're all one in that. These trees are amazing. In essence, by utilizing these trees, we also chip the top third, which creates really amazing soil building kind of chips, wood chips, and we're putting that carbon back in and essentially building the soil, which is being really depleted here. So the trees are multi-beneficial. Even the bark is called happy bark, and it's an amazing medicinal bark in many cultures because it helps with insomnia and anxiety and depression, and really just learning, and tapping back into how do we amplify today's ways and use all as, in service. When I die, I'm going to go back to the ground and all these microbes, and I'm going to be part of that soil and those trees that grow. It's all this cycle. And how do we continue to utilize everything, in its most whole form? So we have this amazing mill that can mill these massive trees into dimensional lumber. Dimensional lumber, of course, is rectangles or, linear kind of cubes that would be easy to assemble. Most builders and architects and home handyman can kind of saw up some dimensional lumber and install it because it's all got these 90-degree angles and right angles and such. And so our Peterson sawmill can really dimensionalize these massive logs and create an abundance of building material. We actually treat the material in borate. Borax is a mineral similar to salt, actually, but everything in Hawaii needs to be treated with that. It's a natural material, and we sink the wood into this massive 8,000-gallon tank and submerge it. And basically in 10 minutes, you've coated the wood, and then you dry it in the shade and you dry it in the sun. And that creates, that doesn't make sense. You dry it in the shade and out of the rain, and therefore you have treated, termite resistant, local, sustainable, abundant wood. So our little community has a huge offering for Hawaii and the world. It is tapping back into these ancestral ways of timber frame joinery. So we're building, with more integrity and more of a very proven way, and lessening our need for fasteners and nails and this really industrialized, fashion that is horrific. Concretes and metals are terrible if you want to dive into that. So how do we lessen that? And joinery is that. It does mean slowing down. It does mean creating almost a new culture around, building, and not just this slap together Home Depot plywood, all these glues and this off-gassing and this convenience. Let's quit, just run to the store and buy something, to slap in there because that's all we have the capacity for. And I get it, and I do it. I call myself a hypocrite because I'm not perfect. I'm still doing that to some degree. But the awareness, the consciousness, and being in these community circles of, radical responsibility, we're seeing where we can improve. And we're all doing good, but we can always do better. And in that, there's an infinite opportunity. And we also have a keiki program. Keiki is a word for kids here in Hawaii. So we have a keiki program, children's program, educational, sustainable building, organic farming, and conscious cooking. So having these kids come in and weave into our project, and a part of our offering is to guide and share that with them. And I do tell them that this is not the way, it's just a way. And I feel the more that they have diversity in different practices, then they can follow their heart and intuition and guide themselves. And I feel the more that we slow down and really honor, respect, and cherish these natural elements and natural materials and natural form, we can make a shift. So a lot of our mission and daily devotion is about that, and it's in the food industry and in the food that we're cultivating on the land. When we can shift that 90% imported food that Hawaii is doing to 90% local produce, and we're doing that on the land as well. And it is interesting, right? When we have about 90% of food imported to a tropical, island or islands that are just plentiful and growing, capabilities. And so it's really just looking at the what is and shifting it. There's climate change, or whatever is being drummed up around these words of global warming, and of course the latest tragedy. Well, actually there's a war going on, seemingly. There's always some kind of war, unfortunately. But stepping back before this latest war, the latest tragedy that we saw in the world was this massive fire. The latest tragedy, the biggest fire that had the greatest impact to a town across, from my understanding, all of the United States in the last 100 years. So a huge tragedy. And what's left, this town got flattened, and it's just horrific, the stories. And yet it's just a big, chemical pit. It is so toxic what was left from that fire. It is really disgusting, and it's showing the industrial era and these homes and the norm. And then when you turn, when it gets hit by fire, how much is left, whether in the ancestral ways, when it burns to the ground or gets blown over, it kind of goes back into the earth because it's organic. And part of our mission is to donate sustainable structures to humanitarian organizations, families, individuals, and nonprofits. And in that, we are donating a Albizia, that's those big, beautiful trees, invasive trees that we're transforming into homes. So we're donating an Albizia tiny home to a family in Lahaina, Maui. We are about to stand the walls up next week. We've been doing this for about 2 months, milling all the material. There's so much energy and time that goes into it because it's that whole transformation. It's like a micro little industry, creating all the pieces. And we've been doing this for last couple of months, and really excited to kind of start to stand up the post and beam in this wall frame. We have a GoFundMe up, and the GoFundMe is helping raise support. It's definitely a unique project because of its sustainability offerings, because of its unique honoring. We're giving back to a family that's lost everything, but trying to give it back in a way that is really a supportive home for their family, a supportive inspiration for Hawaii as this goes across the ocean to Maui. It's a ripple to help us remember and remind one another of these sustainable ways and these eco designs that we're so passionate about. So if you feel inspired, check out the GoFundMe, and please share. I know that's the potency of today, of course. We're also connected and have so many beautiful colleagues and families and circles, and social media, and the sharing is really powerful. Caring is sharing. And of course, donating. The money that comes in is so appreciated. It's really, it's very needed. We're not just, whittling away some sticks with a little, knife. There's a lot of machinery and labor and family men and women coming together to really help this other family. Families helping families, and really appreciate your support and donations. We're kind of meeting this time now to chime into this video, I guess. Typically on this webinar, I would walk around and share the community vibes and homes and building facility in the Epic Gardens, but we have a low-tech community, meaning we don't have internet, and we are at the neighbor's place now, getting the internet. And I'm going to show and share screen and talk story about our community, and then we can do some questions after that. If anyone's got any questions, I'd love to kind of hear some feedback and questions and see if my services can be shared. And of course, forever and always, we love to give our perspective, our wisdom, our designs, and our styles freely. So forever reach out, and would love to love you up. Yeah, let's start the video and we can go from, oh yeah, we're up top. So if you can see, it's not playing. 1 second. You can see it on the screen. So maybe taking a moment here. Yeah, so I am up a ladder, actually. This is my low-tech drone koala bush kid style. I'm up a ladder on the side of the wood shop, panning over the biodynamic gardens. And we have the greenhouse and the barn and a lot of bananas and papayas and fruit trees you can see. Those are the massive Albizia, that tall, beautiful gray tree. My little hale, which is a Hawaiian word for home, was there. And then you can see the wood shop. This is our big wood shop hoop house. And of course, the gardens are here in front of us. It's kind of glitchy. Is that normal? I'm not sure if it's just the way I'm getting it, but let us know if that is okay on your end. So this is our little outdoor kind of bar area. We have events and serve really amazing elixirs and juices that are super local and medicinal. So we have these guilds. These guilds are, like little food forests, kind of diverse companion planting and mixed in with the medicinal plants that are forever nourishing us and reminding us. This is our little temporary temple. One day it'll be a beautiful little multifunctional space. This is also where the kids have their little classroom. It's their base, and then they go out and get amongst the gardens and get their hands in the soil. And we also do a farm to table, and this is one of our little tables that we have for our summer series, farm to table, where my beloved makes the most amazing, nourishing edible art. She's just an amazing chef that's so stoked on utilizing as much local and beyond organic ingredients as can. Yeah, so this is a human dollar garden, I call it, where it has all these kind of sacred geometry mandala kind of fractals coming out from the center. Yeah, so walking over to the greenhouse now. This is the compost area. So we have this is Brother White. He's one of the most devoted gardeners. It's just every day. So these composts here are our soil building little compost station, where we flip these compost rings, these 6-foot rings, 3 times in 9 months, and basically we birth this amazing black gold soil. Some beautiful banana flowers and racks here, almost ready. Once the bananas kind of fill out, then they are ready to harvest. We have a lot of chickens on Kauai, so you try to beat the chickens. This is an avocado tree. We're plugging in lots more fruit trees. We've been on the land for 6 years now, and there was already an orchard, but basically everything else that you're seeing is from us in the last 6 years. So we have, where are we? There's my boy. He's in the barn making or breaking something. We have a lot of kids on the land, and it's beautiful because they're like free ranging, we call it, and there's just so many beautiful uncles and aunties and inspirational beings that they kind of bounce between and then create their own fun and whatnot too. This is our crystal garden. This is a smaller version. So this has our root vegetables in it. We have not just invasive trees, but pigs that are super invasive and problematic. And so this root garden is in a fence that is dug into the ground. The pigs are actually also pretty good eating too. Build with the invasives, eat the invasives, transforming them, but of course, loving and blessing them and their energy. So I've just been pushing back the jungle right there where that soil is, and then moving left into this cocoa tree. These coconuts are just amazing. There's 11 dwarf cocos on the land with, yeah, some of the most amazing sustenance. And the coconut tree alone is just next level. This is our latest little build. It's a cube, 12 by 12 by 12, Metatron's cube, sacred geometry. We have these natural braces that are live edge burnt, and then we have this joinery. So we, as I said earlier, just loving the joinery. And it is craftsmanship, it is art, it is a beautiful collaboration with the wood when we're kind of using its unique curves and blending that with our somewhat clean modern lines. And that collaboration is really inspirational for me, using nature, the best artist of all, and then kind of blending that with skill, craft, and also an artful expression. So yeah, we are pushing back the jungle and using the trees, and then planting native trees, fruiting hardwoods, food forests, living seed banks. Really, that's the potency of a lot of what we're planting. It's just so plentiful. These are breadfruit or ulu trees. There's enough fruit on these kinds of trees, they say, to take the world out of starvation. Each tree fruits 200 fruit a year, massive big fruit. This is our composting toilet. But the fruit trees of the breadfruit or the ulu grow everywhere there's starvation or famine in the world. So that one tree could be a game changer, they say. I'm panning up the Albizia tree now, which, look at that, it's so beautiful. Yeah, it's definitely hard to take them down, but as I shared earlier, they are very dangerous. Here's some chunks of one we took down the other week. This had some rot in the middle. It was an old tree with some of those widow makers growing on it. So it had it wasn't the healthiest tree. So we didn't utilize the lumber from that part, although we did from the main trunk, which is the part cut off this right here, like huge. Look at that. That's, I think, like 48 inches across. And as I said, one of these trees can, easily build a tiny house. And we're not just about tiny homes, we do bigger homes too. It's all about material choice. And so yeah, this is a hardwood tree right here, eucalyptus from Australia. So the hardwood we use for decks and lanais and stairs, because it's rot resistant. It's also full of oil, eucalyptus oil, where the Albizia tree is more of a softwood, so it's an interior use. So we have, different tree varieties we use for different areas, so we don't have to keep on buying wood finishes and reapplying toxic crap, excuse my language, to the wood. We just choose the right wood for the right area. Chicken coop here, cassava, amazing root vegetable, squash, really a diverse array of of nourishment. We're trying our best, and we can always do better, but to really plant up our families and other family needs. So there's a lot of permaculture on the land. This is our tiny house, little shower at the back, driftwood. Crazy, you love the driftwood, but this is the side, or reclaimed cedar. So this is a tiny house on a triple axle, 30-foot trailer, a little outdoor shower to wash off the kids and wash off the farm. Right now. The driftwood, you're right. The driftwood gets washed, through erosion, washed down the streams and rivers, and ends up on the beach getting tossed and turned. And it's an absolute gift, these very artistic, beautiful driftwood pieces that I love to apply to my builds, because they're already art, and giving them another life. They're already patinaed out and sun beached. These are some eucalyptus stump chunks just to create a cheap, easy, and sustainable kind of little patio. Again, the eucalyptus is found in California and Australia, and we love to use it for exterior application. This is our little cocoa zone. I was sharing about the cocos before. Obviously, you can drink them green, but when the nut matures, you've got amazing food source for milk and oil, and the fiber's amazing. The fronds, it's the one tree of life. I love the coconuts. This is our little outdoor kitchen. My beloved's that incredible chef. So having a pre-kitchen where you can do the messy stuff. This is all Albizia. So this is utilizing the invasive tree species. This is a 6x6 kind of post and beam frame, covered screen lanai off the side of our tiny house on wheels, to gain more space. And yeah, so it's covered screen lanai in Hawaii is where it's at. Essentially having a roof to get you out of the rain and the sun, screen to have you out of the bugs. It's a very comfortable living in the subtropics. This is our dining table I made 8 years ago. Another crazy driftwood stump that comes up and goes through this slab countertop. And then I cut these little skimming rocks, these lava rocks, into hexagonals and kind of mosaic them together. Yeah, you can see the stump coming through those round ends there. Super custom and time consuming. But again, the art, the living art is so inspirational when, you're bringing nature in, just it's so easy to do. Grab some driftwood next time you're at the beach, the lake, the river. You get these hemp rope, super easy, lighting systems that you just drape over it, and it's fun. This is stairs and shelves. My son calls them the stealths. It goes up to his room, so another little multifunctional kind of application to really help with small home, tiny home living. Kind of a mess, but kind of clean. He's done well. Sometimes it's a bomb. There's my beloved holding her belly. She is 6 months, 7 months pregnant with our third, which is super exciting. So this is the rough sawn, texture left from our Peterson swing mill. We are loving the rough sawn. It just shows the character and the process, and it's less processing. Just like food, the more whole and you can leave it, the better. So the rough sawn is a trend now. Actually, people are trying to do stress wood and give it that look, so it does look rustic and not so modern and synthetic and kind of hospital like, where it's just cold and not has that life and that living expression that we're so thirsty and hungry for these days. And in our homes, we really are craving more of that organic feel and that weathered look, or that natural expression that so many people on all levels around the world are merging in with their home. The rich and the famous, and the little hippie houses and the tiny homers. And I think it's really a trending thing. People are going from industrial weirdness to wanting more organics and wanting more rough sawn or barnwood. And this is our little hanging bed loft, a way to create a loft in a tiny house without having the solid ceiling that would make it feel kind of low. So that's another way to get more relaxation space, especially with many kids. A little dining table, driftwood kind of going through the table, some coconut seats, stools on wheels. This is wait, this is Anna and this amazing chef, my beloved, carrying on as she does. So I love to do crystal infusion. This is a quartz crystal kind of inlaid into a concrete countertop, but concrete is not very earth friendly, but using coral and sand is my way to justify it. You just saw a rolling around window. I didn't show that very well, but it rolls open. It's an old tabletop that rolls open. Check out my Instagram, you'll see more. Here's some affirmations as you go up to our little loft. I do feel we need reminders. This is a great way to get those reminders, is doing some little, intentional affirmations to help. And yeah, a lot of live edge. Love the live edge. This is a monkey pod, so it's a hardwood, Hawaiian hardwood, and little fun view there down into the space. There's also monkey pod stairs. So into the bathroom, we tried to make a bathroom that had a bit more of a larger or more luxury feel, just because most tiny homes you don't have that, and more driftwood inspired copper, patina copper lighting, and really nice. We love to have a bath that's in overlooking the jungle there, and um, yeah, it's more driftwood, and this is all reclaimed cedar cabinets, homemade, and kind of did like a whitewash. That whitewash is a nice way to still see the wood, but have a what do you call it? Oh, snuck in a kiss. Still see the wood, but yeah, give it more of a neutral, lighter, modern, beachy kind of vibe. Um, so now this is the wood shop from the inside. All the crazy chunks of massive stumps that we're so blessed with. The tree guys bring these for free. They want to get rid of them because they have to pay the green waste to get rid of them. So we're just in between the green waste and the tree guys. They literally just bring up, this is a mango tree we just got blessed with a chocolate heart. You see it in the foreground right here on the left too. That's the trunk stump. Chocolate hearted mango just dropped off for free in the mill house. Massive Albizia. That's the trunk of what you saw before down when I put my hand on it down on the jungle side of the property. Talk about, what's your, what's the footprint, the footprint of, bringing a tree from the land up to the mill house, milling it, and then planting that house, somewhere in the jungle. It's like very sustainable and trying to do it as low impact as we can, although that's a gas, that's a diesel tractor, and we have a gas mill. So we are still merging with machinery, for efficiency, trying to meet the market, right? We're not just going to whittle away these little homes. It's going to take 7 years to produce some nice little crafty thing. Merging these machines, I do feel has an application. Hopefully one day we move away from it once again. Although for now, this four-sider planer is amazing. It planes four sides in one pass. It can also do tongue and groove. So we do a lot of homemade tongue and groove um, panels that drop into our post and beam. So we have a single wall breathing wall system using lava rocks rather than concrete. We love the organic. There's so much abundance here where we can, again, honor these rocks, these boulders, tap into them. They are living minerals. They are, in my opinion, a living being. So honoring them and tuning in with them and giving them another life of service. And we still use fastness. The stainless steel brackets was to hold that mill house down for hurricanes and such. So still using modern materials, but just lessening them. Look at that roof flare. That is just one of my favorites. It's so freaking crazy and cool. Trying to get a 9-foot sheet of glass. If anyone has a 9-foot round piece of glass, they want to email me. This is the Albizia project we're building. So this is from Maui. These are our window frame components. See the dado in it. The dado is to receive the wall. So it's kind of like snapped together, almost Lego style joinery. Takes more time, more love, but it's so much nicer for the integrity and the longevity and the energetic essence. Once you're in this home, it's really, how does it feel? How do we leave that love and that blueprint there for all to love and live in? Live edge, of course. Just gonna step down, I believe. Oh, maybe just a little spin here. So, yeah, the wood shop's great. It's so sunny and hot or raining and wet. So the wood shop is like a key component to bring in the trailers, triple axle or whatever, and then build in there. Back out to our gardens. This is a spiral tree creation. Talking about building houses and sustainability, I really want to start growing houses. So that's one little kind of spin on things, training these trees. And I'm actually guiding my son, who's 9, because it's probably going to be in his hands and his child's or children's hands too, multi-generation. But growing homes, I do feel is a synergy that is exciting. This is a bus, old school bus, chopped out the middle and did a little timber frame, post and beam extension to help gain some height. Avocado tree, we love the avocados. Um, and it's in a guild, so it's not just like an orchard. There's other companion trees and other chop and drop trees, so you can really create and cultivate the soil through a various diversity. Uh, this is our little solar um, dehydrator that is, what's it got? Oh yeah, it's got some mac nuts. We love the mac nuts, and maybe some teas or other things people put in there from time to time. It's a solar creation. So depending on the day or the week, it can be not so productive, although it can rip too on the nice summer days. This is the first home we did. This one was filmed by HGTV, Tiny Paradise, 6 or 7 years ago. Our family lived in this for 4 years, 240 square feet, 4 of us. It was tight and amazing to be so close and so bonded up with the family. And I love tiny house living, and there's so many ways it can help us. If things are too small, or if you're not appreciating the tightness with the family or the sibling or the partner, get outside. It helps us get outside. This is some really amazing, time-consuming detail from the Balinese inspiration. Some of these carved barley boards mixed with my driftwood and bamboo, and I just really loved merging different materials here and playing with it. And it really is play for me. It doesn't feel like work. It's so fun to be co-creating with these materials, and the more we use organic materials, it feels so good. And then when you go home, it's not like you're bringing home toxicity to the kids or the baby or the home or the sheets. So it feels like play because it is merging with these God's creations, these timbers, these whole materials. This is some a curved roof. We didn't go in there because a friend's staying there, but this has a curved roof, and it was one curved tree that set that wave shape. Again, using nature for the inspiration and the collaboration. Most architects and builders just go to the store and buy, whatever is there and easy. And it's just like, I am man, I build boxes. But yet, if you just slow down and tap into the natural beauty and abundance, there's so much inspiration to utilize what is here. That's a Dutch tub or a hillbilly tub that heats water with a fire and then self-circulates and pump-less and electricity-free system. A greenhouse, screenhouse. These are all our starts. So we use a seed blocking system so we can use less plastic. This is butterfly pea. Such a fun flower. That's my beloved stains all the rice in the stains. That's a weird name or word. There's Bear. He lives in the bus. He's apprentice gardener. But the butterfly pea is so amazing. I'm sure you know of it. If you don't, it's a really great way to add beautiful natural colors to your drinks and food. Moving away from artificial coloring, artificial building material, and AI. We are going old school as much as we can. And of course, not at 100%, but really loving the ways it's being done, and merging with, ancestral ways and modern, I do feel is the bridge. We don't want to change or shake people out of their ways, but more so just create an easy flow and bridge to another paradigm. Wonderful. Well, thank you all for sharing in and on that journey. Yeah, a little tour around the land, lots of components and moving parts. And it's a collaborative space. It's owned by the nonprofit. I've dissolved ownership and now what I call ownership. a form that we can steward the land and love and care for it as it does for us. It's this synergy, symbiotic essence, and so many other families helping with that model. So what you saw there was a collaborative essence, and that's where we have that power. Speaking of collaborative, I really want to open it up to the chat now to see if there's any questions, and we can get some feedback or some answers and questions to kind of weave this sharing as is called. So if you feel called or inspired, please reach out and see if there's any questions that come through. We also have a website, solprojects.com. It's our nonprofit website that we're forever tuning up, but solprojects.com, projects with an X. And SOL is sustainable organic living. That's what it stands for. Can you get giants to remove the invasives? Oh, grants. Sorry, my reading's poor. Yeah, you can. That whole world it hurts my head, but the more hands and hearts we have to collaborate and help us with these missions, that would be amazing. And I'm sure we will at some stage, but for now, I'm pretty stretched. But yes, that's a very good opportunity to use the government funds or others to kind of support us, supporting others. The lava rocks can you please remind me what you used? They're for footings rather than concrete, right? Concrete's very processed and creates a lot of, problems by that heavy machinery and, factory and importation. So lava rocks or any rock, depending where you are in the world, as a footing. It's been done for thousands of years. It's beautiful. It's organic. And then you get to carve the bottom of the post so it kind of marries it. What do we got here? How do we spell the name of the tree you are referring to, the invasive one? Albizia. ABIL. I don't even know. This is how good I am at remembering things here. Albizia. 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 I can write that down too. So we got a question here. Is that legal requirements? So the current legalities of Kauai and Hawaii is a gray area that's forever being evolved, and it's definitely a unique model we're doing that is not totally blessed by the county. We are looking at ways to merge and move and dance with them. There's a lot of things that are happening and changing because of the housing crisis. The current style of the governing system is not working. It's failing. I know county members, they come to the land, they love what we're doing, although it doesn't tick all their boxes. So there's a bit of a gray area for sure. But that's a massive opportunity and a bridge to really go in and work with the county to co-create these living expressions that create more connection to the land. When you live in your garden or right next to your garden, you walk through your garden to your vehicle. And when the kids, emerge with that, that's the key component. And not just about gardening, nature, So there's a massive opportunity to make this form not just legal, but actually rewarded, if you will, where they put money into it and actually help it through grants and all of that. Sorry, do you know much about tree species? Sorry, I'm just reading one from Andre here. What type of trees are good candidates for harvesting in the Bahamas, Australia? I'm not too familiar. Australia, they're pretty strict with taking out trees there. Here in Hawaii, you don't need to, well, actually, for some of them, you should get permits and all that, but the tree guys have good relations with that whole world. And they basically, if it's invasive, have the right to go and remove it. In Australia, I know with my mom, even cutting down her tree in her yard was, it was a challenge because you have to jump through all these hoops. And I'm not too familiar with other practices. I know in Canada, the logging companies are now, the clear cutting in that practice is really quite hideous. I lived in Canada for 11 years and now they're even genetically modifying those Douglas Fir and spruce and pine, planting. So when they go in and replant, so it's like this modern amplification of how quick and how big can we make things grow. They're adding this this form of building that's kind of scary, or this form of production that's scary. So how do we do it more mindfully, and what can we tap into on a smaller scale that doesn't have such of a bigger impact? Using free wood for your own mill puts you ahead of, yeah, I know, that's a great thing. So when we use the free wood, it's definitely a blessing, right? In North America, the landowner sells that wood to you know, the mill, or you know, whoever it is. So we get it for free. It's a huge blessing. It's probably a multi-billion-dollar industry, removing invasive trees and coming in and replanting native trees, fruiting hardwoods, food forests. It's a massive paradigm. Not that we want to do it, but to inspire it. Yes, I feel that's what we're here for. It doesn't mean it's easy. The labor is so expensive here. Everything here is in Hawaii. It's a blessing, but it's also an expensive place to live. So the labor creates the value. And with any industry or any you know, grassroots movement, it's getting that ball moving, the awareness around utilizing these trees and not just running to the store for Home Depot specials or Honsador, you know. So we're creating a movement that creates awareness, and then the people are really getting behind it. But it does take time, and it's at our scale, it's not really lucrative, although, you know, it can be. It's just it's R&D, it's research and development, understanding, learning, and growing this with a very little tight budget. You know, it's a lot of me just working hard on other jobs to bring money in for the community. But with your donations, helps us with this Maui Albizia project. And also go on the website and check out solprojects.com, other ways to get involved, to donate some of our kids' classes. You know, there's much more that we have to offer that really create community in a global way. And in that unity that we're co-creating here, and in so many other ways, we can really create that support structure that we really then can thrive, moving out of survival into thrival. I really do feel that's where we're going. And how do we do that? It takes a lot of hands and hearts. Yeah, really grateful for this opportunity. I know we're kind of at our time here. I see some more questions coming in. We can ship to other states, yes. But any questions, get a hold of me, solprojects.com, reach out. Also, solprojects@gmail.com, my email. I really appreciate the time, the sharing, the opportunity. Thank you to tinyhouse.com, and really looking forward to collaborating. If you guys come to Kauai, look us up. We'll do some farm tours and get to meet and greet and share what we're doing. We love to do that. That's a big part of our offering too, is just taking the time to share. I really feel that is the potency of today's way. So once again, many blessings. Thank you so much. A big aloha, and looking forward to tuning in another time soon. Blessings.